First contact. The vastness of space stretched out before the U.S. horizon, humanity's most advanced long-range scout ship. Captain Elena Reyes stood on the bridge, her dark eyes scanning the starfield ahead. After months of uneventful exploration, the crew was growing restless. They were pushing the boundaries of known space, venturing further than any human expedition before. "Anything on sensors, Liam?" Elena asked, glancing at her science officer. Lieutenant Liam Chen shook his head, his fingers dancing over the holographic display. "Nothing yet, Captain. Wait," he paused, leaning in closer to the readout. "I'm picking up an anomaly at the edge of our sensor range." Elena straightened, her interest piqued. "Can you identify it?" "Negative," Liam replied, his brow furrowed in concentration. "It's unlike anything in our database. The energy signature is alien." A ripple of excitement passed through the bridge crew. They'd all signed up for this mission hoping for a moment like this. First contact with an alien civilization. "Set an intercept course," Elena ordered, her voice steady despite the adrenaline surging through her veins. "But approach with caution. We don't know if they're friendly." As the horizon altered its trajectory, Dr. Zara Okoro, the ship's phenobiologist, hurried onto the bridge. Her dark skin gleamed with a light sheen of sweat. She'd clearly run all the way from her lab. "I came as soon as I heard," Zara said, slightly out of breath. "Is it true? Have we found aliens?" Elena nodded, gesturing towards the main view screen. "See for yourself, Doctor." The screen flickered to life, revealing a distant pinprick of light that grew steadily larger as they approached. Soon, they could make out the unmistakable silhouette of a starship, but one unlike any they'd ever seen before. Its hull was a swirling, iridescent material that seemed to shift and flow like liquid metal. Organic curves and spirals replaced the sharp angles of human spacecraft. It was beautiful, alien, and utterly mesmerizing. "My God," Zara whispered, her eyes wide with wonder. "It's magnificent." As they drew closer, the alien ship suddenly came to life. Streams of multicolored light danced across its surface, pulsing in complex patterns. "Captain," Liam called out, his voice tense. "I think they're trying to communicate." Elena took a deep breath, squaring her shoulders. This was the moment they'd all been waiting for and dreading. "Open a channel, all frequencies. Let's see if we can establish contact." For several long moments, nothing happened. The bridge crew held their collective breath, watching the alien vessel for any sign of response. Then, without warning, a beam of shimmering energy lanced out from the ship, enveloping the horizon in a cocoon of light. Alarms blared as the ship's systems went haywire. "What's happening?" Elena demanded, gripping the arms of her chair as the deck shuddered beneath her feet. "Some kind of scanning beam," Liam reported, his fingers flying over his console. "It's probing our ship, downloading our database. Wait, it's retreating." The light faded as quickly as it had appeared, leaving the Horizon's crew blinking in its wake. Before anyone could react, a new image materialized on the view screen, an alien face. It was vaguely humanoid, with large, almond-shaped eyes that shimmered with an inner light. Its skin was a pale lavender, smooth and lacking any visible hair. Instead of a nose, it had a series of delicate gill-like structures. When it spoke, its voice resonated directly in their minds, bypassing their ears entirely. "Greetings, humans of the U.S. horizon," the alien said, its mental voice melodious and androgynous. "We are the Lie Ray. We welcome you to this sector of space." Elena stood, her heart pounding. "I am Captain Elena Reyes of the United Earth Alliance. We come in peace, seeking friendship and knowledge." The Lie Ray's eyes sparkled with what might have been amusement. "Your thoughts betray your words, Captain. We sense your fear, your mistrust, but also your curiosity and hope. These are good qualities. We would know you better." Zora stepped forward, unable to contain herself. "Your ship, your technology, it's incredible. We have so many questions." The alien's attention shifted to Zara, its gaze intensifying. "Ah, a seeker of knowledge. Yes, we sense great potential in you, Zara Okoro. Perhaps you would like to see more?" Before anyone could respond, a shimmer of energy enveloped Zara. She gasped, her body tensing, and then vanished in a flash of light. "Zara," Elena cried out, willing to face the alien on the screen. "What have you done with her?" The Lyrae remained calm, its mental voice soothing. "Do not fear, Captain. Your companion is safe aboard our vessel. We merely wish to satisfy her curiosity, and our own. We will return her soon, unharmed." Elena's mind raced. This wasn't how first contact was supposed to go. They had protocols, procedures, none of which accounted for instant teleportation and telepathic aliens. "I demand that you return Dr. Okoro immediately," Elena said, struggling to keep her voice level. "This is not how civilized species conduct diplomacy." The alien's expression shifted subtly, its eyes narrowing. "You speak of civilization, yet your thoughts reveal a history steeped in violence and conquest. We must be certain of your intentions before we proceed further." With that, the view screen went dark, leaving the bridge in stunned silence. Hours passed with no word from the Lyrae or Zara. Elena paced the bridge, her worry growing with each passing minute. She'd sent regular hails to the alien ship, but received no response. Just as she was considering more drastic action, the familiar shimmer of energy appeared on the bridge. Zara materialized, looking dazed but unharmed. "Zara." Elena rushed to her side, steadying the xenobiologist as she swayed on her feet. "Are you all right? What happened?" Zara's eyes were wide, filled with a mixture of awe and bewilderment. "It was incredible, Elena. Their ship, their technology, it's beyond anything we could have imagined. And the Lyrae themselves." She trailed off, shaking her head as if trying to clear it. "What about them?" Elena pressed, guiding Zara to a nearby chair. "They're telepathic, as we suspected," Zara explained, her voice growing stronger. "But it's more than that. They can share memories, experiences, entire lifetimes in the blink of an eye. I learned more about their species in a few hours than we could have in years of conventional study." Elena frowned, concern etching her features. "Did they hurt you? Coerce you in any way?" Zara shook her head emphatically. "No, not at all. They were curious, eager to learn about us, just as I was about them. But there's something else, Elena, something important." Before Zara could elaborate, the view screen flickered to life once more. The Lyrae representative appeared, its eyes now fixed on Elena with newfound intensity. "Captain Reyes," the alien's mental voice resonated in their minds. "We have conferred with your Dr. Okoro and examined the knowledge she shared with us. We believe an alliance between our peoples could be mutually beneficial." Elena straightened, her diplomatic training kicking in. "We would welcome such an alliance, but on equal terms. No more unilateral actions or abductions." The Lyrae's eyes sparkled with that same hint of amusement. "Agreed. As a gesture of good faith, we invite a delegation from your ship to join us aboard our vessel. We have much to discuss." As the view screen went dark once more, Elena turned to Zara, her expression grave. "What aren't you telling me, Doctor? What did you learn up there?" Zara met her captain's gaze, a mix of excitement and trepidation in her eyes. "The Lyrae, Elena, they're not just similar to us, they're compatible, in ways we never thought possible." Elena's eyebrows shot up. "Compatible, you mean?" Zara nodded, a slight flush coloring her cheeks. "Biologically, genetically, yes. The implications are staggering. It could revolutionize our understanding of xenobiology, of life itself." As the reality of Zara's words sank in, Elena felt a weight settling on her shoulders. The fate of two species, perhaps the entire galaxy, could hinge on what happened next. "All right," Elena said, squaring her shoulders. "Assemble an away team. Let's see what the Lyrae have to offer and what they want in return. As they prepare for their historic meeting, none of them could have predicted the incredible journey that lay ahead, a journey that would challenge their preconceptions, test their humanity, and ultimately change the course of galactic history forever. Cultural exchange. The sleek shuttle glided towards the Lyrae vessel, its iridescent hull shimmering against the backdrop of stars. Inside, Captain Elena Reyes sat rigid, her fingers drumming a nervous rhythm on her armrest. Beside her, Dr. Zara Okoro's eyes sparkled with barely contained excitement. "Remember," Elena said, addressing her small team, "we're here to learn, but also to represent humanity. Be respectful, but stay alert. We still don't know their true intentions." As they approached, a section of the alien ship's hull seemed to liquefy, creating an opening for their shuttle. They passed through effortlessly, the strange material reforming behind them. "Incredible," Leom Chen muttered, his scientific curiosity overriding his usual stoic demeanor. "Some kind of programmable matter, perhaps." Before anyone could respond, a soft chime resonated through the shuttle. The door slid open, revealing a Lyrae waiting to greet them. "Welcome, friends," the alien's mental voice echoed in their minds. "I am Zilvan, your liaison. Please follow me." As they stepped into the alien ship, the humans gasped in collective awe. The interior was a breathtaking blend of organic curves and pulsing bioluminescence. It felt less like a spacecraft and more like being inside a living organism. Zolvan led them through winding corridors that seemed to shift and change as they walked. "Our ship is semi-sentient," the alien explained, sensing their wonder. "It adapts to our needs and desires." They arrived at a large, circular chamber. In the center stood a group of Lyrae, their bodies adorned with intricate, glowing patterns. "Our Council of Elders," Zalvan introduced. "They will oversee our exchange." One of the elders stepped forward, its mental voice resonating with authority. "Captain Reyes, we have much to discuss. But first, we believe a more intimate exchange of knowledge would be beneficial." Elena hesitated, recalling Zora's experience. "What exactly do you mean by intimate?" The elder's eyes shimmered with what might have been amusement. "We propose a temporary mental link. It will allow us to share information far more efficiently than verbal communication." Elena glanced at Zara, who nodded encouragingly. "It's safe, Captain. Incredible, actually. You'll see." Taking a deep breath, Elena stepped forward. "Very well, I'm ready." The elder reached out, its slender fingers touching Elena's temples. Suddenly, her mind exploded with images, sensations, and knowledge. She saw the history of the Lyrae unfold before her, their evolution from aquatic beings, their mastery of biotechnology, their journeys across the stars. But it wasn't just information. Elena felt the Lyrae's emotions, their hopes and fears. She experienced their deep reverence for life in all its forms, their commitment to harmony with the universe. When the connection broke, Elena staggered, overwhelmed. Zara steadied her, concern etched on her face. "Are you all right, Captain?" Elena nodded, her mind reeling. "It's a lot to process, but I think I understand them better now." The elder's mental voice was gentle. "And you, Captain Reyes, your species has great potential, but also great challenges to overcome." Over the next few days, the human delegation immersed themselves in Lyrae culture. They marveled at the aliens' bioengineering prowess, their ability to manipulate their own biology at will. The Lyrae shared knowledge of advanced medical techniques that could revolutionize human healthcare. In return, the humans introduced the Lyrae to aspects of their culture: art, music, literature. The aliens were particularly fascinated by human emotions, which they found more intense and varied than their own. Zara spent much of her time in the Lyrae's biological research facilities, her scientific curiosity insatiable. She worked closely with a young Lyrae scientist named Neil Lie, whose specialized field was interspecies genetics. As they worked side by side, Analyzing the surprising similarities between human and Lee-Ray DNA, Zara found herself drawn to Nelia. The alien's graceful movements, its melodious mental voice, the depth of intelligence in its shimmering eyes, all of it captivated her. One day, as they were examining a particularly interesting genetic sequence, Nearly turned to Zara, its eyes intense. "Zara, may I share something with you?" Zara nodded, her heart racing with anticipation. Nearly reached out, gently touching Zara's face. Suddenly, Zara was flooded with emotions, curiosity, admiration, and something deeper, warmer. It took her a moment to realize these were Neely's feelings, for her. As the connection faded, Zara found herself breathless. "Neely, I had no idea." The Lee-Ray's mental voice was soft, almost shy. "Among my people, such connections between different species are uncommon, but not unheard of. I hope I have not made you uncomfortable." Zara shook her head, a smile spreading across her face. "Not at all. In fact, I feel the same way." Their hands intertwined, human and alien fingers entwining in a gesture that bridged the gap between their species. Meanwhile, Elena was engaged in more formal diplomatic discussions with the Lee-Ray Council. They were negotiating terms for scientific and cultural exchange programs, as well as potential trade agreements. "Your propulsion technology alone could advance our space exploration efforts by centuries," Elena said, her excitement barely contained. "And your medical knowledge, it could save countless lives." The elder nodded, its mental voice thoughtful. "We are happy to share our knowledge, Captain, but we must proceed cautiously. Your species is young, volatile. We have seen the destruction you are capable of inflicting on yourselves and your world." Elena couldn't hide her shame at the truth in the elder's words. "We've made mistakes, yes, but we're learning, growing. This encounter, this opportunity to learn from you, it could be the catalyst for real change." The elder's eyes softened. "Perhaps. We sense great potential in your people, Captain Reyes, but potential for great good, and for great harm. The question is, which path will you choose?" As Elena pondered this, an alarm suddenly blared through the ship. The elder's posture stiffened, its mental voice urgent. "We are receiving a distress call from a nearby Lee-Ray outpost. They are under attack." Elena straightened, her diplomatic demeanor shifting to that of a starship captain. Under attack by whom? The elder's eyes darkened. By a species we had hoped never to encounter again. They call themselves the Vorkath, a warlike race that sees all other life as resources to be consumed or enslaved. Without hesitation, Elena said, "We'll help. The Horizon may not be a warship, but we're not defenseless. Let us prove that humans can be allies in times of crisis." The elder studied her for a long moment, then nodded. "Very well, Captain. We accept your offer. But be warned. The Vorkath are unlike any enemy you have faced before. This conflict may well be the crucible that determines the future of our alliance, and of both our species." As alarms blared and the Lee-Ray ship prepared for battle, Elena realized that the cultural exchange had suddenly become far more than she'd bargained for. They were about to face a threat that could either forge their alliance in the fires of adversity or destroy it before it had truly begun. With determination in her eyes, Elena tapped her communicator. "Horizon, this is the captain. Prepare for possible combat. We're about to show the galaxy what humanity is truly capable of." As the Lee-Ray ship and the Horizon moved into formation, ready to face this new threat together, the fate of two species, and perhaps the entire galaxy, hung in the balance. Interstellar crisis. The combined fleet of human and Lee-Ray ships dropped out of faster-than-light travel near the besieged outpost. The scene that greeted them was one of chaos and destruction. The Vorkath ships, black and angular in stark contrast to the fluid lines of Lee-Ray vessels, swarmed around a small space station like angry wasps. On the bridge of the Horizon, Captain Elena Reyes felt a chill run down her spine. "My God," she whispered, They're tearing that station apart. Zilvan, the Lyra liaison who had insisted on joining the Horizon's crew for the battle, projected a sense of grim determination. The Vorkath show no mercy. They see other species as nothing more than resources to be harvested. Elena's jaw tightened. Not on our watch. Tactical, target the nearest Vorkath vessel. Fire when ready. The Horizon's advanced weaponry, a marvel of human ingenuity, lanced out across space. The energy beams struck the Vorkath ship, causing it to shudder and spin away, trailing debris. Direct hit, Liam called out, a note of triumph in his voice. But their victory was short-lived. The Vorkath, realizing they faced a new threat, began to regroup. Their ships moved with an eerie, insectoid coordination, as if guided by a single mind. Evasive maneuvers. Elena ordered as a barrage of enemy fire streaked towards them. The Horizon banked hard, narrowly avoiding the worst of the assault. Even so, the ship shuddered under the impact of glancing blows. As the battle raged on, it became clear that despite their technological advantages, the combined human Lee-Ray fleet was outnumbered. The Vorkath fought with a savage intensity that bordered on suicidal. "We can't keep this up forever," Elena muttered, watching as another Lee-Ray ship succumbed to the relentless Vorkath assault. Zilvan's mental voice was strained. "We need to find a way to turn the tide, or the outpost will fall." Suddenly, Zara's voice came over the comm. "Captain, I have an idea. The Lyra biotech, we might be able to use it against the Vorkath." "Explain, Doctor," Elena said, ducking instinctively as another blast rocked the ship. "The Lyra can manipulate their own biology at will," Zara said, her words tumbling out in a rush of excitement. "What if we could do the same to the Vorkath ships? They're biomechanical, right? If we could introduce a virus or parasite, we could disable their fleet from the inside," Elena finished, a glimmer of hope kindling in her chest. "Zilvan, is this possible?" The Lyray's eyes shimmered with newfound respect. "It might be, but we would need to get close enough to introduce the bioagent into their systems." Elena's mind raced. The shuttle. If we could modify it with Lee-Ray tech, make it look like one of theirs. "I'll need help," Zara interjected. "Someone who understands Lee-Ray bioengineering intimately." There was a moment of silence before Zilvan spoke. "Nelia. She is the foremost expert in adaptive biotechnology among our people." Elena nodded, decision made. "Make it happen, Doctor. You and Nelia have 1 hour to create this bioweapon. The rest of us will buy you as much time as we can." As Zara hurried off to begin work on their desperate plan, Elena turned her attention back to the battle. The next hour was a blur of frantic maneuvering, precision targeting, and nail-biting near misses. The human Lee-Ray fleet fought with everything they had, but they were slowly being pushed back. Just when it seemed they couldn't hold out any longer, Zara's voice crackled over the comm once more. "We're ready, Captain." Elena allowed herself a small smile. "Excellent work, Doctor. Prepare for launch. Liam, you're with me. We're taking that shuttle in." As Elena and Liam made their way to the shuttle bay, Zilvan's mental voice reached out. "Captain, allow me to accompany you. My knowledge of Vorkath systems could prove useful." Elena hesitated for only a moment before nodding. "All right, let's go." The modified shuttle slipped out of the Horizon's bay, its outer hull now pulsing with the same bioluminescence as a Vorkath ship. They weaved through the chaos of battle, heart rates spiking with every near miss. "There," Zilvan indicated, pointing towards a massive ship at the heart of the Vorkath fleet. "That must be their command vessel. If we can introduce the bioagent there, it will spread to the entire fleet." Elena guided the shuttle towards their target, every muscle tense. As they approached, a docking bay opened, mistaking them for a returning Vorkath craft. "It's working," Liam whispered, disbelief coloring his voice. They landed in the alien bay, the shuttle's ramp descending with a soft hiss. The interior of the Vorkath ship was a nightmarish blend of organic and mechanical components, pulsing and writhing in a way that made Elena's stomach churn. "Quickly," Zalvan urged. "We must reach their central processing core." They moved through the ship as fast as they dared, Zilvan's knowledge of Vorkath layout proving invaluable. Finally, they reached a massive chamber dominated by a pulsating, brain-like structure. "This is it," Zalvan said. "The Bioagent must be introduced here." Elena nodded to Liam, who carefully removed a container from his pack. Inside, a swirling, iridescent liquid glowed with an inner light, the fruit of Zara and Neely's frantic work. Just as Liam was about to release the agent, a harsh, guttural cry echoed through the chamber. They turned to see a group of Vorkath warriors, their chitinous armor gleaming wickedly in the low light. "Do it now," Elena shouted, drawing her weapon. She and Zilvan engaged the Vorkath, buying Liam the seconds he needed to release the Bioagent into the core. The effect was almost immediate. The brain-like structure began to convulse, its pulsations becoming erratic. Throughout the ship, systems began to fail as the Bioagent spread. "Back to the shuttle," Elena ordered, laying down covering fire as they retreated. They barely made it back to their craft, sealing the hatch just as the first Vorkath warriors reached them. As they launched, they watched in awe as the massive Vorkath ship began to list, its movements becoming sluggish and uncoordinated. All around them, the rest of the Vorkath fleet was suffering the same fate. Ships collided with one another or drifted aimlessly, their crews no longer in control. As they flew back to the horizon, Elena allowed herself a moment of relief. "We did it," she breathed. Zilvan's mental voice was filled with a mixture of awe and gratitude. "You have saved countless lives today, Captain. Our peoples, working together, have accomplished what neither could have done alone." Back on the horizon, the victory celebration was tempered by the knowledge of how close they'd come to disaster. As Elena debriefed her crew, she couldn't help but notice the way Zara and Neely stood close together, their hands occasionally brushing in a gesture that seemed more than casual. Later, as the adrenaline of battle faded, Elena found herself in her quarters, staring out at the stars. A chime at her door roused her from her thoughts. "Enter," she called. Zilvan glided in, its eyes shimmering with an emotion Elena couldn't quite read. "Captain, I wanted to thank you personally for what you've done today. You've proven that humans are indeed worthy allies." Elena smiled tiredly. "We're just getting started, Zilvan. There's so much more we can accomplish together." As they stood there, human and alien, gazing out at the vast expanse of space, both felt the weight of possibility settling upon them. The battle against the Vorkath had forged a bond between their species, one that held the potential to reshape the galaxy. But as Elena's eyes drifted to where Zara and Neely stood on the far side of the bridge, heads bent close in intimate conversation, she realized that the most profound changes might be happening on a much more personal level. The lines between human and alien were blurring in ways none of them could have predicted. The crisis had been averted, but Elena had a feeling their greatest challenges and greatest discoveries still lay ahead. Forbidden Union. In the weeks following the Vorkath attack, an uneasy peace settled over the human-Lee-Ray alliance. As the two species worked together to fortify their defenses against future threats, bonds of friendship and understanding began to form. However, for Dr. Zara Okoro and Nelie, the Lee-Ray scientist, their connection was rapidly evolving into something far deeper. One evening, Zara found herself in one of the Horizon's observation lounges, gazing out at the swirling nebula that surrounded them. The door slid open, and Nelie glided in, its bioluminescent patterns pulsing softly in the dim light. "I thought I might find you here." Nelie's mental voice was warm, tinged with affection. Zara smiled, her heart quickening at the alien's presence. "Just admiring the view. It's beautiful, isn't it?" Nelia moved closer, its shimmering eyes reflecting the cosmic display outside. "Yes, but not as beautiful as you, Zara." The directness of the compliment made Zara blush. Among humans, Such forwardness might have seemed awkward, but the Lyrae valued honesty above all else. Hi, Zara began, struggling to find the right words. What's happening between us? Is it even possible? I mean, we're from different species, different worlds. Nelia's mental touch was gentle, reassuring. In all my years of studying xenobiology, I've never encountered two species as compatible as humans and Lyrae. It's as if the universe itself designed us to find each other. Zara felt a thrill run through her at Nelia's words. She reached out, her fingers intertwining with the alien's slender digits. The contact sent a jolt of electricity through her, a connection that went beyond the physical. I've never felt this way about anyone before, Zara admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. Nelia's free hand came up to cup Zara's cheek. Nor have I, among my people. Such intense emotions are rare. You awakened something in me, Zara, something I never knew existed. Their faces drew closer, the air between them charged with anticipation. When their lips finally met, it was like a supernova exploding in Zara's mind. She was flooded with Nelia's thoughts, feelings, and memories. It was overwhelming, intoxicating, and utterly addictive. As they parted, both breathless, Zara knew with absolute certainty that her life would never be the same. However, their moment of bliss was short-lived. The door to the lounge slid open, revealing a startled Lieutenant Chen. Dr. Okoro, Lion's eyes widened as he took in the scene before him. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Zara and Nelia sprang apart, but it was too late. The realization of what he'd witnessed dawned on Lion's face, a mixture of shock and concern. Liam, please, Zara began, but he was already backing out of the room. I should go, he mumbled, disappearing into the corridor. Zara turned to Nelia, panic rising in her chest. This is bad. If word gets out. Nelia's mental voice was soothing, but tinged with worry. Perhaps it's time we were honest about our feelings. Surely our peoples will understand. But Zara wasn't so sure. Despite the growing alliance between humans and Lyrae, there were still many on both sides who viewed interspecies relationships with suspicion or outright hostility. Over the next few days, Zara noticed a change in the way some of her crewmates looked at her. Whispers followed her through the corridors of the horizon. Even Captain Reyes seemed more distant, her usual warmth replaced by a professional coolness. It all came to a head during a joint human-Lyrae strategy meeting. As Zara presented her latest findings on Vorkath biology, she could feel a tension in the room. Finally, one of the Lyrae elders spoke up, its mental voice resonating with disapproval. Dr. Okoro, while we appreciate your scientific contributions, we must address the rumors that have been circulating. Zara felt her heart sink. She glanced at Nelia, who stood at the back of the room, its eyes shimmering with support. Your relationship with Nelia, the elder continued, if true, is a matter of grave concern. Such unions between our species are unprecedented. The potential consequences, both biological and cultural, are unknown. Captain Reyes cleared her throat, her expression torn between sympathy and duty. I have to agree, Doctor. While your personal life is your own, this situation could jeopardize our entire alliance. I'm afraid I'll have to relieve you of your duties until we can fully assess the implications. Zara felt as if the floor had dropped out from under her. Captain, please. My relationship with Nelia hasn't affected my work. If anything, it's enhanced our understanding of each other's species. But her pleas fell on deaf ears. As the meeting adjourned, Zara found herself isolated, shunned by both humans and Lyrae alike. Only Nelia remained by her side, a steady presence in the storm of uncertainty. That night, as they huddled together in Zara's quarters, Nelia's mental voice was filled with determination. We cannot let them tear us apart, Zara. What we have, it's too important, too precious. Zara nodded, drawing strength from Nelia's unwavering support. You're right, but what can we do? We're facing opposition from both our peoples. Nelia was quiet for a moment, its bioluminescent patterns pulsing thoughtfully. Perhaps we need to show them. Prove to them that our union is not just possible, but beneficial. How? Zara asked, intrigued despite her despair. Nelia's eyes shimmered with a mixture of excitement and apprehension. There is a Lyrae ritual, ancient and rarely used. It allows for a complete melding of minds and bodies. If we were to undergo this ritual, it could provide irrefutable evidence of our compatibility. Zara's scientific curiosity was piqued, but she hesitated. Is it dangerous? There are risks, Nelia admitted. The process is intense, and there's no guarantee of success. But if it works, Zara, it could change everything. As Zara pondered Nelia's proposal, she realized that they were standing on the precipice of something monumental. Their decision could alter the course of human-Lyrae relations forever. Okay, she said finally, her voice firm with resolve. Let's do it. Whatever happens, we're in this together. Nelia's joy radiated through their mental link, enveloping Zara in a wave of love and gratitude. As they began to plan their clandestine ritual, both were acutely aware of the challenges that lay ahead. They were about to embark on a journey that would test the limits of their love, their bodies, and the very nature of what it meant to be human or Lyrae. Little did they know that their union would soon catalyze a chain of events that would shake the foundations of both their civilizations and usher in a new era of galactic history. Miraculous discovery. The Lyrae ritual chamber pulsed with an otherworldly energy, bioluminescent patterns swirling across its organic walls. Zara and Nelia stood at its center, their hands intertwined, hearts racing with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. Are you sure about this? Zara whispered, her voice trembling slightly. Nelia's mental voice was warm with reassurance. More sure than I've ever been about anything, my love. As they began the ancient Lyrae bonding ritual, neither of them could have predicted the extraordinary chain of events they were about to set in motion. The ritual started slowly, a gentle melding of minds that soon intensified into a torrent of shared thoughts, memories, and emotions. Zara gasped as she felt her consciousness expanding, intertwining with Nelia's in ways she had never thought possible. But it didn't stop there. As their mental bond deepened, something unprecedented began to occur. Their physical forms started to shimmer and blur, the boundaries between human and Lyrae becoming indistinct. Panic flared in Zara's mind, but Nelia's steady presence calmed her. Don't fight it, the alien soothed. Let it happen. For what felt like an eternity, they existed in a state of flux, neither fully human nor fully Lyrae. And then, with a burst of light that illuminated the entire chamber, the transformation was complete. When the glow faded, Zara blinked in astonishment. She felt different, stronger, more aware. She looked down at her hands and gasped. Her skin now shimmered with faint bioluminescent patterns, while still retaining its human texture. Nelia, she called out, her voice echoing strangely in her mind. I'm here, came the reply, both audible and mental. Nelia stood before her, changed as well. Its form was more humanoid now, with distinct facial features that reminded Zara of her own. They stared at each other in wonder, marveling at the miracle they had become. They were neither fully human nor fully Lyrae, but something entirely new, a perfect fusion of both species. Their awe was short-lived, however, as alarms began blaring throughout the ship. The door to the ritual chamber burst open, revealing Captain Reyes and a team of security officers, their weapons drawn. Step away from each other, Elena ordered, her voice sharp with shock and concern. Zara raised her hands placatingly. Captain, please, we can explain. But before she could say more, a wave of dizziness washed over her. She stumbled, feeling suddenly weak and nauseous. Nelia caught her, concern radiating through their bond. Zara, what's wrong? As the room spun around her, Zara's scientific mind raced. The symptoms, the timing, could it be? But it was impossible, wasn't it? Captain Reyes lowered her weapon, worry replacing her stern expression. "Dr. Okoro, are you all right?" Zara managed a weak smile. I think I might be pregnant." The proclamation sent shockwaves through both the human and Lee-Ray communities. News of Zara and Neely's transformation and the miraculous conception spread like wildfire. The next few weeks were a whirlwind of medical examinations, scientific debates, and heated diplomatic discussions. Zara found herself at the center of a storm of controversy and fascination. Dr. Elias Stromberg, the Horizon's chief medical officer, shook his head in disbelief as he reviewed Zara's latest test results. "I still can't quite believe it," he muttered. "Your DNA, it's unlike anything I've ever seen. It's as if the human and Lee-Ray genomes have perfectly merged." Zara nodded, her hand resting protectively over her stomach. "And the baby?" Dr. Stromberg's expression softened. "Healthy and developing normally, as far as we can tell, though what normal means for a human Lee-Ray hybrid was still figuring out." The implications of their discovery were staggering. Not only had Zara and Neely proven that humans and Lee-Ray could bond on a fundamental level, but their child represented an evolutionary leap that could change the course of both species. However, not everyone viewed these developments with excitement. Factions on both sides began to voice concerns. Some humans feared that this could lead to the end of humanity as they knew it, while conservative Lee-Ray worried about the dilution of their species' purity. Captain Reyes found herself walking a diplomatic tightrope, trying to balance the scientific potential of the discovery with the very real fears and concerns of both crews. "I understand your concerns," she addressed a joint assembly of human and Lee-Ray representatives. "But we cannot ignore the potential benefits of this union. The medical advancements alone could save countless lives across both our species." The Lee-Ray elder's mental voice resonated with cautious optimism. "Perhaps this is the destiny our peoples were meant for, a true joining of minds and bodies, transcending the limitations of our individual species." As the debate raged on, Zara and Neely found moments of peace in each other's company. Their bond, already strong before the ritual, had deepened into something profound and unbreakable. "No matter what happens," Neely murmured, its hand entwined with Zara's as they gazed out at the stars, "we're in this together, us and our child." Zara nodded, a mixture of love and determination flowing through their shared connection. "We'll face whatever comes our way, and who knows? Maybe our baby will be the key to bringing our peoples together once and for all." As her pregnancy progressed, Zara's body continued to adapt and change. She developed new abilities, enhanced telepathy, accelerated healing, even limited shape-shifting. Each new discovery brought both excitement and trepidation. The Horizon, once a ship of exploration, had become a floating laboratory and diplomatic hub. Scientists and diplomats from across human and Lee-Ray space flocked to study the miraculous couple and debate the future of their alliance. Captain Reyes, watching Zara's growing belly during one of their regular check-ins, couldn't help but marvel at the journey they'd all taken. "When we set out on this mission," she mused, "I never could have imagined anything like this." Zara smiled, her eyes shimmering with an otherworldly light. "The universe is full of surprises, Captain. I think we're only just beginning to scratch the surface." As they stood there, human and hybrid, captain and scientist, both women felt the weight of history upon them. They were standing at the threshold of a new era, one that promised to redefine the very nature of humanity and its place in the cosmos. The child growing within Zara was more than just a baby. It was the embodiment of hope, the living proof that different species could come together to create something beautiful and unprecedented. As the stars wheeled slowly past the view screen, Zara placed a hand on her swollen belly, feeling the flutter of movement within. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she knew that this child, this miracle, would be the key to a future brighter than any of them could have imagined. The stage was set for the final act of their cosmic drama, the birth of a child that would change everything. A new era. The Horizon's medical bay hummed with nervous energy. Dr. Elias Stromberg triple-checked his equipment, acutely aware that he was about to assist in the most significant birth in human history. Captain Elena Reyes paced nervously outside, her usual composure cracking under the weight of the moment. Inside the sterilized room, Zara lay on the birthing bed, her transformed body glowing with an intense bioluminescence. Nearly stood by her side, their hands intertwined, their mental bond a soothing balm against the pain of labor. "You're doing great, Zara," Dr. Stromberg encouraged, his voice steady despite his inner turmoil. "Just a little more." Zara gritted her teeth, her hybrid physiology both a blessing and a curse in this moment. The enhanced pain tolerance of her Lyrae side battled against the very human fear and anticipation roiling within her. With a final, monumental effort, Zara pushed. The room filled with a blinding light, forcing everyone to shield their eyes. When the glow faded, a new sound filled the air, the cry of a newborn, unlike any heard before. Dr. Stromberg gasped as he held up the child. "It's incredible." The baby was a perfect blend of human and Lyrae. Soft, pale lavender skin pulsed with gentle bioluminescent patterns. A full head of dark hair framed a face that was undeniably human, save for the large, iridescent eyes that blinked up at them with unmistakable intelligence. "It's a girl," Dr. Stromberg announced, his voice filled with awe as he placed the newborn in Zara's arms. Zara and Nili gazed down at their daughter, tears streaming down their faces. Through their mental link, they shared a moment of pure, unadulterated joy. "She's perfect," Zara whispered, her finger gently caressing the baby's cheek. Neely's mental voice was choked with emotion. "What shall we name her?" Zara smiled, a name coming to her with sudden clarity. "Aurora. It means dawn in an old Earth language, because she's the dawn of a new era for both our peoples." As news of Aurora's birth spread, the reaction was immediate and far-reaching. The horizon was inundated with messages from both human and Lyrae worlds. Scientists clamored for data, religious leaders sought to interpret the event within their doctrines, and politicians scrambled to understand the implications. In the days that followed, Zara and Nili found themselves at the center of a galactic media storm. Aurora's every milestone was documented and analyzed. Her accelerated growth and development, her unique abilities that seemed to combine the best of both species, all of it was subject to intense scrutiny. Despite the chaos, Captain Reyes stood firm as a protector of the new family. "This child is not a science experiment," she declared in a passionate address to a joint human-Lyrae council. "She is a person, the living embodiment of what our two species can achieve together. We have a responsibility to ensure she grows up in a galaxy ready to accept her." Her words struck a chord. Slowly but surely, attitudes began to shift. As more humans and Lyrae interacted with Aurora, they found their preconceptions challenged and their hearts opened. Aurora's first steps were taken on the bridge of the horizon, her tiny feet leaving twinkling bioluminescent footprints in her wake. Her first words were a mixture of human speech and Lyrae mental projections, bridging the communication gap between the species in ways no one had thought possible. As Aurora grew, so too did the alliance between humans and Lyrae. The exchange of knowledge and culture accelerated, leading to unprecedented advancements in technology, medicine, and space exploration. 5 years after Aurora's birth, the horizon found itself at the center of a massive celebration. Representatives from dozens of worlds gathered to witness the signing of the Galactic Concordat, a treaty that would unite human and Lyrae civilizations in a bond deeper than mere alliance. As Zara and Nili watched their daughter play with children of various species, free from prejudice or fear, they knew that their love had changed the course of history. Captain Reyes, now Admiral Reyes, approached them, a warm smile on her face. "I never thought I'd see the day," she mused, watching the diverse crowd mingle. "We set out to explore strange new worlds and ended up creating one." Zara nodded, her hybrid features serene. "It wasn't easy. There were times I thought we'd tear ourselves apart over our differences." But love won out in the end, Nilly added, its mental voice radiating contentment. As if sensing she was being discussed, Aurora bounded over to her parents, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "Mama, Papa, can we go see the new starships? Please." Zora laughed, scooping up her daughter. "Of course, sweetheart. Admiral Reyes, would you like to join us?" Helena nodded, her heart full as she watched the family, a living symbol of unity and hope. As they made their way through the bustling spaceport, she reflected on the incredible journey that had led them to this point. They had set out to explore the stars, but in the end, they had discovered something far more valuable: the capacity for love, understanding, and growth that transcended the boundaries of species. Aurora, with her innocent smile and boundless potential, was living proof that the future held infinite possibilities. As they stood before the sleek new ships, their hulls gleaming with a perfect fusion of human and Lee-Ray technology, Elena felt a surge of optimism. Whatever challenges the vast, unknown universe might hold, she knew that together, human, Lee-Ray, and everything in between, they were ready to face them. The dawn of a new era had truly begun, and its light promised to illuminate the cosmos in ways they had only begun to imagine. As Aurora's laughter echoed through the spaceport, mingling with the excited chatter of 1,000 different species, Elena knew that their greatest adventures still lay ahead. The stars beckoned, and this time, they would face them not as separate races, but as one united galactic family. The end was just the beginning.